My high school history teacher had been a professional football player before his teaching career. In the mid-60s, he was the punter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. His past affected my present when he led our high school springtime trip to Washington, D.C. For several days, he led us through the usual markers and monuments to our nation's political experiment. But he also took us on a rare visit, a personal interview with an associate Supreme Court justice in his private office and public chamber. Justice Byron Whizzer White was in his first of 3 decades serving on the United States Supreme Court. As a rookie in 1938, he led the NFL with the largest contract and most rushing yards, playing for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who would soon change their name to the Steelers. He then played for the Detroit Lions while attending Yale Law School. Our teacher's Steeler connection led us in the room where it happened. I don't remember all that Justice White told us, something about our nation's vision of equal justice under the law and some football stories with our teacher. I do remember the rare experience we had, an hour visit and tour with one of the 9 brethren. While we didn't have a case, our privileged access to the highest hall of our nation's justice was through connections. I wonder if that's true for others as well. While I was unaware, the year we were listening to Justice White, he was listening to attorney Ruth Bader Ginsburg. A few years earlier, she had sought to begin to end discrimination on the basis of sex. As the documentary RBG reminds us, she said, "I ask no favor for my sex. All I ask of our brethren is that they take their feet off our necks." The year we stood in the court, she rose before 9 men to argue for equal justice for men, being denied the same survivor Social Security benefits as women. My experience influences my hearing God's call for justice and righteousness as political statements. Moses telling the king of Egypt that God had heard the cry of his people to be free. Judges seeking to follow God's ways in leading the governed. Prophets saying, "Thus says the Lord," to kings. Jesus being publicly executed by the rule of Roman law, and a few religious leaders coming together to try to kill his message of love. The first Christian martyrs, literally witnesses, imprisoned and executed as empire enemies. Jesus summarizes the law and the prophets. "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." Micah summarizes the law and the prophets. "God has shown you what is good. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God?" As our nation mourns the death of one justice, how are you seeking to do justice?